This is not this channel wherever it is being operated, whether here at BitChute, where you're probably watching it now since I'm on a suspension from YouTube, or if you're watching this at YouTube, because I'm back on YouTube by the time I've downloaded this video on YouTube. I would just like to say a couple things. First of all, this channel is going to be, or has been, and is going to always be eclectic. It's never going to hone in specifically on any one sort of thing. And I try to avoid talking about politics, just because it's not really conducive to good mental health from my perspective. Although there are times when I think you kind of have to comment on this, that, or the other thing. Neither will this channel exclusively become a Mandela effect channel. There are plenty of those out there. Some are of higher quality than others. Some are more credulous than others. But I do feel like talking about the Mandela effect today, because something new came up that I hadn't been aware of before, and that I'm still kind of floored by. All these Mandela effect things kind of, knock me for a loop. That's the whole point of it, I guess. If there's a point, if there's a cosmic point to it all, or an effect, let's just say, if the effect of the Mandela effect is to knock you on your ass, metaphorically speaking, it has that effect. What I was informed of today, what I came into recognition about today, is something else that relates to pop culture. And yes, of course, Mandela effects are often related to pop culture, but they need not exclusively be about pop culture. And sometimes they aren't. It's just that with pop culture, with mass culture, you're talking about something that, if there is a change, a whole lot of people will notice it and comment upon it. So I don't think that those who say, oh well, the entire Mandela effect phenomenon is suspect because it's just a bunch of stuff related to pop culture, lines in movies and corporate logos and album covers, as I will be talking about here in a minute, or children's books or things like that. Well, those are just where that doesn't mean that the phenomenon isn't legitimate. It simply means that it gets more heat or more hype when you're talking about a matter that is noticeable by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, if not tens of millions or hundreds of millions. I don't know how many people have noticed these kinds of things, but I wouldn't put it past. I think it's, as I said yesterday, there's a now Mandela effect movie, so it's kind of gone mainstream. So here's the latest thing. Those of you who are old enough to remember Bruce Springsteen's album Born in the USA, the album cover is very iconic. It's his butt. That's basically it. It's Bruce Springsteen's butt, albeit wearing jeans. I'm guessing that maybe Bruce had a butt stand-in, but because you can't see his face, so there's no way of knowing whether it's actually him or not. But it's a man who is presumed to be Bruce Springsteen from behind, the lower half of him from behind, and he's wearing jeans and a t-shirt, looking very blue collar, and then he's got something in his back pocket. Now, I swear that I always remembered that album cover being as follows: that the contents of Bruce Springsteen's back pocket were a bandana. If pushed, I would say a red and white bandana. I'm not I'm not sure if it was, you know, I think it's maybe just dangling there, like half in, half out. But you know, I could swear. I wouldn't swear quite as much about this. You know, I would own that I might be wrong about this. You know, to a greater extent than I would own that I would be wrong about the Berenstain Bears, because that's something I will never be dissuaded from. That's something I remember very, very clearly. This is something, you know, it wasn't like I was a Bruce Springsteen fan. I didn't have the album, but it was everywhere in the culture, and of course I became familiar with it because at the time I was very engaged with popular music, and so, you know, I knew all the hit songs, and so you saw the album cover a lot. Again, I swear it was Bruce with a bandana in his back pocket. Well, it turns out it's not a bandana in his back pocket. It turns out it's a ball cap. It's a baseball cap, specifically a red baseball cap stuck in his back pocket, which in itself is weird, because who wears a ball cap? Who sticks a baseball cap in his back pocket? Is that done? Maybe it is. Maybe that's something that's done that I just don't know about. It just doesn't seem like the ideal thing to do. I guess you've been working out in the sun, and you know, you've been wearing this baseball cap to shield your eyes and your head if you don't have a lot of hair like me, and your neck from the sun, and then maybe you take it off when you go inside. But say you're not somewhere where you can just set it down, you know, you have to keep it with you, but you don't want to hold on to it. Would you put it in your back pocket? Doesn't it seem like it would be really easy for it to fall out? You know, again, I might be wrong about this, but I don't believe I've seen men who wear baseball caps take their caps off and stick them in their back pockets. That just doesn't seem like a thing that is done. It seems like if you wanted to get rid of your cap, you know, the front pocket would be better, because there's more room and you can just, you know, thrust it all down there, and you make sure that it stays. You put it in your back pocket. Your back pocket doesn't have, there's not much room there. The way it's portrayed on the album now, if you take a look at the album, it looks like it's about to fall out, you know. So it just makes much more sense to have a handkerchief there, you know, or bandana / handkerchief there. You know, maybe you're a mechanic or something, and you work with a lot of grease, and so so you would have a bandana or a handkerchief that maybe you would keep in your back pocket. That makes more sense to me. Doesn't that make more sense to you? So why the baseball cap? And another thing is, again, the blue collar, you know, vibes that the album is supposed to be broadcasting. It just seems like that is much better done with the bandana. Plus, bandanas were everywhere in the 80s. Bandanas were a real thing in the 80s. I know, because I had a very cringeworthy period when I was 14, 15, 16, when I wore bandanas a lot. You know, I thought I liked the look of them, and I just thought, this is a way, this is going to enhance my look somehow. I ended up looking just kind of foolish with them on my forehead, but I remember I would wear them a lot when I was going for a run. I thought bandanas were really cool. So it was the era of bandanas. It was not the era of ball caps. I mean, any more than now is the era of ball caps, or any time. I mean, ball caps have perennially been worn, but but 1985 was more the era of bandanas, and it just, everything makes much more sense. My memory of it, and the memory of so many other people who were fans of Bruce Springsteen, and who do swear that he was wearing a bandana, it just makes so much more sense that way. So this new thing that, of course, as the Mandela effect works, it's not that you were right then, but now things have changed. It's that you've always been wrong. That what you clearly remember from the past has never was. That's a pretty hard sell for me. Admittedly, not as hard a sell as the Barons telling me it was always the Berenstain Bears, because that's just nonsense. Bullshit. Don't buy it. Get that out of my face. You're trying to tell me that they were the Berenstain Bears. That's not a name. That's Berenstain. Nobody is named Stain. Something Stain. Plenty of people are named Steen or Stein. But anyway, I go into that in a prior video. So tell me what you think. If you're not, and please do me this favor, if you're not a Mandela effect person, don't waste my time and don't waste other people's time coming on saying the Mandela effect is stupid. All right, just watch another video, okay? But if you just want to come on and talk about how it's stupid, then I don't know. That just, you're welcome to your opinion, and I again, I'm not expecting everyone to be a believer, but the people I'm reaching out to right now are people who are either believers or people who are open to the possibility. And what I want to know is, what is your memory? If you don't have to be as old as I am, but remains a very iconic album cover. Bruce, the back of Bruce, with the American flag in front of him, his back lower half jeans clad, I thought with a bandana in the pocket, but it seems now a ball cap in the pocket. What do you remember? What do you think? Thanks for watching.